Okay. There we go.
Yes.
Okay. We're starting. 3, 2, 1. I was like, oh, give it a good.
Welcome in, everybody. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey, Richard. Hey,
We're
Angela.
starting. 3, 2, 1.
Oh, why can
Oh,
mute
it's the
that?
live stream. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Go ahead and mute that. Welcome, everybody.
I
Lords,
was like, oh, give it
Cameron,
a good.
Claudia. Welcome in, everybody. Welcome.
Hello.
Hey, Richard. Sorry, we're dealing with a little bit of technical difficulties. We're live streaming actually on multiple platforms, so we're just making sure that looks good. So say hi to everybody.
Hi, Dean.
Janie,
Hello.
Claudia, Brian, thank you guys for joining us today. We're just gonna wait a couple seconds for everybody to load in. We'll get started.
Hi, Jeannie. Hi, Fallon. Claudia.
Okay, it looks like everybody's in. So hello, everyone, and welcome to our Sparkle Meetup and podcast. My name is Nikolai Diaz, and joining me is Christine Reyes and Kevin Young as the co-hosts. And with us today as our guest is an extraordinary intuitive healer and medium who uses what she refers to as soul speak to connect with all life, including animals, at a deep soul level. So let's please welcome Susan Allen.
Yeah.
Thank you again for joining us, Susan.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you for having me.
So I know you do this, you've done this for quite some time. You also are on other podcast shows. You're also a part of a radio show, a really popular one called Coast to Coast, which is like the most listened to overnight radio in America. So that's kind of where I want to get started. Before all this happened, how did you get into intuitive healing and mediumship?
You know, that's a great question. I've always been like a seeker of that. I've always had an interest in it. From the time I'm a little girl, I grew up in an Italian Catholic family in Brooklyn, New York. And I had a grandfather born in Italy, and he started to tell me stories of the saints when I was 4 or 5. And he would just be so wonderful in his storytelling. And I would just look up at him, and I'd listen to all these amazing stories. And I kind of I started to really seek like something alternative at a very, very young age.
So how did you find out eventually you could talk to animals and other souls? How did that first experience go about?
Really quickly, I know there was a story about 17 feral cats. Can you tell us about that?
Oh, that's amazing how you found that story. I don't know. I don't know who I told that to. So I was living in Brooklyn, about to leave for LA, and my dad built this cat house for the backyard because I said, Dad, we got to keep the cats warm in the winter. It's freezing. And this little old lady was throwing meatballs out of her window to feed the cats. And I just thought, I'll house the cats. Well, I had 17 cats in this cat house, and they weren't fighting, and there was a drop light in there, and it was so wonderful. Like every night I'd look out and there'd be cats laying on top of each other. So that was wonderful, except when I was leaving New York, I had to trap all of them because I knew like who's going to house them. And I actually found like angels. Like one lady helped me spay and neuter them. And this is like 25 years ago. And another lady took them for her farm and gave them a home in Connecticut. So they never were homeless again. So that's a cool story. Thanks for asking.
The reason I bring that up is because you call it your good animal karma.
Yes, good research. I feel like that was the beginning. And another funny story was that the lady that gave me the PETA gift certificates to have all the spays and neuters, she was married to Kevin Nealon from Saturday Night Live. And I called her to ask, how do I set these traps up? You know, she was just helping me. I didn't know her husband. And he answered the phone and he said, this is what was really crazy. He goes, I'll get on the N train. I could be at your house, set up the traps, and then I'll go back to New York and I'll make my show. And I thought, I can't let you get on a train the night you're going to be on Saturday Night Live. So that's one of my stories from my book. So I figured out how to set traps up, and I had 3 traps set up at a time with towels over them, and I'd catch 3 cats a night. It was amazing.
Oh my
So that was intense. That was an intense cat.
So you were at an early age, you were the cat lady.
Yeah, I don't think I was ever a real cat lady. I only had the top limit was 3 in my house at a time. But my first cat that I took care of, I was about 5, and he would just come in my garden in Brooklyn, and I was feeding him every night. Like, I was his main squeeze. I was feeding him every night. My mother was having a fit, but she kind of didn't have the animal thing like I had, but my dad had it. So he kind of got me.
I love that story.
Is there a particular animal that you would, I would say, you find like have like an affinity or for you lean more towards? Is that
Well, I think horses, because that's kind of how I discovered it, so to speak. I was working on a horse at a barn. I couldn't ride. And it was somebody else's horse, and I would just massage him and groom him and scratch him. And I was having a conversation with him telepathically. And I thought, these people in the barn are going to think I'm really crazy, because as time went on, I would start to cry, and he'd be telling me stories, and I'd be like, I think I'm crazy. Like, is this horse really talking to me? And it was really unusual. Like, before I left for quite a long time, I told him, I'm not going to be able to be here for 6 weeks. So you better let me kiss your face and nuzzle you, because I have to go. And within like a time frame of a few seconds, like it just like was instant. Time stood still, and he put his head down. He let me kiss his face. His eyes closed and his ears came forward. And I went, wow, I think he heard me. And it was shortly after that I took animal communication class. It came up on my iPad. I was home convalescing after a surgery, and I had this really cute French bulldog that I wanted for like 15 years. And I finally got this little dog, and she was 2. And I thought, oh, animal communication. But I was already doing it and just spaced out, not even realizing I had this ability. And it was amazing that I took this class, and the teacher put up pictures, and I teach the same way that she taught me. So this is how I teach animal communication. And we just went around the room, and before I knew it, like, I was writing like a Disney novel about her horse. And I'm like, I'm not even a writer. And
Right.
it was like I was just channeling from this animal. And I have these collections that I'm turning into a book of all my animal readings. I have composition notebooks filled with animal readings, and I'm just going to write some vignettes before each reading, and I'm publishing this, and I'm really excited about it because the stories are really amazing. And when she would get to me, I said, well, your horse just said he had an accident, and it was he corrected himself in real time. He said his nose, and then he said it was his nostril. And she verified that the horse hurt his nose, and he needed immediate like veterinary emergency care. I'm not going to get graphic or go into details, but he was like laying in his stall when they found him. And he survived that, and he wanted to tell me what he had survived. And I was like, oh, like, this really happened. And I was still kind of like, this is really happening. And before I knew it, I had a business, because everybody in the class, there were 10 people, and 1 veterinarian was calling me for readings. And I just thought, okay, well, I'll do this for testimonials. And then my phone was blowing up, and I had to start charging for animal readings. So that's kind of my forte, but 99%, like 95% of my business, believe it or not, are people wanting to talk to their deceased relatives or get psychic help. But that's really like the love of my life, is my animal communication. That's kind of how spirit showed me who, or helped me remember who I really was and what I was supposed to do for the rest of my life.
I love that. How did you transition from animal to humans on the other side? I also know that this was a funny story. This is a story that I love, because you didn't want to be scared.
No, I didn't. I tell everybody that, like, when I was talking to the animals, it was gentle and loving. And I thought, I don't want to talk to dead people. I don't want dead people walking through my house. I don't want them to scare me, because I kind of have a little anxiety, which I think is part of this ability. It's like how I channel. And so one day I was talking to a celebrity girlfriend. They used to call me a lot for their cats, and I'm sure he won't mind. It was Billy Corgan for this from the Smashing Pumpkins. It was his girlfriend, and he wrote me a testimonial. I didn't ask for it. And I'm talking to the cat, and I'm looking across the room, and the picture of my dad and I, it started to look a little different, and it wasn't scary. I wasn't scared, which is like wonderful, and it started to look like somebody else. And it was his face that was kind of like just very subtly. And I started to describe this man, and she said, "That's my dad." I didn't get to say goodbye, but he came through with what happened. It was really amazing. And I was like, I just talked to a dead person. And then I said to Spirit, hey, if this is how you're going to communicate with me and it's going to be subtle, I could totally do this. So if, it was just a thought, just like, I'm not talking to dead people. It was just in a meditation. I said, if you communicate like this is gentle and it doesn't scare the hell out of me. Let's continue this way.
I know when my grandmother passed, my dad was always, we were scared. I was like, I hope she doesn't, I love my grandmother, but I hope she doesn't visit me at night, because I'm going to be, because she always used to wear this nightgown too. And I was like, she's going to come in her nightgown and she's going to be at the kitchen table and I'm just going to rush.
And I believe in ghosts too. I'm sorry to cut you off, but I believe in
not
ghosts
at all.
too. Growing up in the Philippines, I used to see them like from afar, and I know that they're real. And so like my passed on loved ones, I'm always like, don't show up for me. I'm gonna get scared. I know you're here, but don't show me yourself.
I
So
totally get that.
one thing that was interesting, because you mentioned psychic, but I heard somewhere that every medium is a psychic, but not every psychic is a medium. So
You
not
might
a lot.
have heard it from me, because I heard it from another medium friend of mine, and it's true. Before I became a medium, he said to me, every medium is psychic, but not all psychics see the dead people or talk to the dead.
So that's the difference, because most people don't know, kind of lump it all together. And that's kind of how you distinguish the two, or?
I don't know if I distinguish, because sometimes I get messages from my dead people about events that are happening for the person. So I kind of feel like I'm getting the messages from the deceased loved ones or guides or angels that the people have around them that I talk to. I think it's a culmination of both. It's funny because people go, that sounds a little psychic. And I'm like, but your dead person just told me this.
And you mentioned you're gonna develop a book, because I also, when I was looking through some of your past material, you talked about, for the first 10 years, you would use a journal for note taking of what you were reading. And has there been any other tools like that because it seems like you figured this out and it started to come about a little bit later in your life, even though you've had it in the beginning, but you started to really reinforce it and harness it.
Yeah.
What kind of tools or what kind of methods did you use to bring that ability more into the forefront?
Meditation. It's really key, is slowing down your mind and allowing. I think the greatest thing about being a medium is you leave yourself and you let other information come in. So it's like, for the hour that I'm with you, I'm not thinking about my bills. I'm not thinking about the dogs. I'm not thinking about my house is a mess. I'm not thinking about I didn't make dinner. That's the beauty of what I do. And that's why I think I love it so much. But when I first started, I used my maiden name and I had a little website, and, I was doing it on the side of my main job because I was afraid that people would think I was nuts, but if you know me, you get my personality. I'm kind of like goofy and out there to begin with. And I just was afraid to let go of that career, and I know that spirit, like God and spirit and my faith and my hope and everything that I believe in has guided this. Like, spirit developed my business. I didn't. Like, who knew that this animal communication class was going to open this dog, this little French bulldog that I love so much, really showed me who I really was. Because as a young kid, my brother came in to take me out of the crib and said, Susie, who are you talking to? He said, I was laughing and giggling. And I said, the beautiful lady. And he said,
That's scary. That's scary right there.
he said, actually, he just told me this 3 years ago. I kid you not, because now he had a memory. He's much older than me. I was like the change of life baby. I was the baby they weren't supposed to have. So he said, you freaked me out. I ran out of the room. Okay.
Want to do the same.
Right. And so I think they knew not to like show up dead in front of me, because I always had like high, like horse anxiety. I always like refer to myself as like a horse or a bunny. Those are the kind of like, those are the two animals that I think I replicate the most. And it's really wild that years later, when I was 25, when I was 23, my mother got sick with cancer and we lived together. And she passed when I was 25. She was 23 when she got sick. And when I was 25, she passed. And 6 months after she passed, I was sick and I heard her screaming, get to the emergency room. And I thought that was normal. I mean, and I went to the emergency room and they gave me my last rites and they did emergency surgery on me. So my mother from the grave saved my life.
That's
And I
amazing.
still wasn't going, hey, there's something different about me. And I still wasn't like owning that, I still was, second generation Italian. You had to go make something of yourself. You had to go work, and it was much later in life that I really trusted this. It was actually something that was hard. I lost my dog, and it was the French bulldog that taught me this, and the pain was so great. And I chose to turn lemons into lemonade by jumping out in the public eye and doing videos and helping others. And I do a lot of Facebook lives and I do Instagram lives. And that's how I used my pain. I just pushed myself out. And it's been the greatest thing that's ever happened to me is, the tragedy of losing her actually got me out of my shell and got me doing what I'm supposed to do.
That's phenomenal. Now, I do have a question regarding that, since you mentioned your brother. And is anybody else in your family gifted like this, or is it just you?
That's a great question. So my grandmother on my dad's side from Bari, Italy, didn't speak any English. And my uncle, my father's brother, when he knew I was medium, like years ago, he said, grandma had this. He said, but it frightens her so much, she would not even talk about it. So I didn't really have, she died when I was 7. So I didn't really have, the ability to have a friends in the family to talk about this, but it is generally placed, it is in the bloodline.
Yeah.
And like a lot of mediums that I know that are phenomenal, have this in the bloodline. It's like passed down.
Yeah, that was something that I've noticed as well too, especially with like the especially in like European like families, they tend to have like a generational like medium or psychic within that family, and it's typically like the daughter, either the oldest or the youngest. I've always known it's one of those two. So
Yeah.
But would you say that everyone is spiritually gifted, but some are more I guess
adept.
yeah.
More sensitive to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wouldn't have known I had the ability unless I started to meditate. I think, that's when people want to mentor with me, I do some private mentoring. The first thing I say to them is, do you have the ability to sit? And will you commit to this? And I'll teach you how to sit and I'll teach you how to stay in meditation. Because if you can't commit to meditating, I'm not going to be able to train you in what I know.
Yeah.
And it's true. Like the one girl, there was one mentee that was traveling the world and she had a business, but she'd jump on and work with me every other week. And she goes, I'm so sorry I didn't meditate this week. I'm like, you committed. This is your ability that we're harnessing for you, but you're not going to get there unless we could quiet you.
Mm.
That's a phenomenal lesson. Reminds me of Journey to the West. I can relate everything to Journey to the West. So
That's great.
Often people look to you for guidance, but do mediums and psychics look to other mediums and psychics? Kind of like the question of who delivers the mailman's mail. Who consults or guides the medium?
Well, that's a really good question, because I feel like I was seeing a medium a lot, and I feel like it was my PhD in mediumship. I didn't think I was one, but I was going to a medium like several times a year, and I just felt different, and I was becoming a medium without me even knowing it, because I wasn't looking for this. Trust me, it's like it came to me. I wasn't like, oh, I think I'm going to be a healer and a medium. I mean, that was not what happened. But I have friends that, if I have a question that I just feel like I need a yes or no about, I'd call a girlfriend that's medium, or they call me and go, what are you getting? But I don't usually, that part of my life's over. It's like, when I was consulting a medium all the time, I wasn't a medium yet. I wasn't believing in my own abilities. So now that I have my own abilities, I actually go right to the source. I go to God, I go to spirit, I ask the questions there.
Makes sense.
I have a question. What were some practices that you did to start believing and start trusting yourself?
You mentioned meditation.
Meditation was part of it. I wasn't looking to be a medium through meditation. It was, a friend of mine said, you got to slow down. You're like a rabbit. You have to turn into a turtle. And he was a numerologist, and he was an amazing person. And he did a bunch of trips to Egypt. And I met him through one of my clients in my other job. It was really weird. I was selling real estate, and this woman said to me, you got to call John. And he lived in, Ohio or Cincinnati. Like, we were complete opposites. And says, your numerology, you got to slow down. And he taught me the meditation that I give to people. And I was just doing it to slow down and get out of the crazy headspace. And within 18 months, the messages were coming to me through animals, because I didn't start out as talking to dead people. Like I said, it was just sweet and fun and accurate. That's the other thing. Like, the vet in my class is still my client that I met 20 years ago in this silly class. It was $99 for 3 classes, Animal Communication 101. And some of the people, we went around the room, and somebody said, I'm not getting anything. And I'm like, when somebody tells me that in my class, I'm like, no, we're going to go in now and talk from your heart, and I want you to speak from your heart and get the messages here. Because you get the messages here, you don't get it here. Because if you're trying to figure it out, you're in your head, you're not dropping into your heart. Because the heart will always give you the best information. Your body will give you the best information, not this. This is ego. Right. This is your mind running the show. This is fear, worry, projection. Do I look good? Am I good? Am I going to make a lot of money? Am I going to win that lottery ticket? That's all here. That will bring you nothing but fear and unhappiness. And it's really here. When you listen to your soul and you listen to your body, and you're around people that make you feel good, and when you're around people that don't make you feel good, you just start learning. It's like learning. Like, I was the girl that everybody wanted at their party, because invite Susan. She's going to be the life of the party. I'm still not that girl anymore. It's like, if I need to go home, I go home. If I need to take space, I take space. It's not, my life is not run on what other people think of me or want me to be. My life is run by them. Spirit runs my life.
I love that.
And something, Gary Spivey, right, Susan?
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I love Gary. I love him.
fellow psychic, and it's kind of a common thread that because I don't know why I'm talking to a lot of psychics now, but one of the common threads that I was able to notice is that they usually were kind of shying away from their gift to begin with. And it's usually a process, normal people, us people that don't experience that, we're kind of like, that'd be amazing. I would tell the whole world, but it makes sense because obviously you grew up from a religious background, Catholic family. That's kind of different in terms of mediumship, and it kind of a lot the same as well. But that's what I wanted to talk to you about, is how is religion fit in with what you're doing?
I think religion, for me, religion fits in. I went to Lourdes, a client and I went to Lourdes. She said, you heard about that trip?
With miracle water that, cure ailments, sickness.
Yeah, but it was the craziest trip because it happens like I threw a trip together with her in 3 weeks, and she just had a place and she had been to Lourdes. And when I went to Lourdes, I felt the energy of Lourdes. There's this river running through Lourdes. It's powerful. It's like a vortex. I'm more energy sensitive, and I do believe that people have come before us that had abilities and can see, and I believe that you could see the auras of people. You know how the Catholic saints have like halos around them? I think that at one time you could see auras around people, maybe before computers and phones and all the tech. I think that when we lived a simpler life, and we ate from our field, and we had a cow and we'd take care of a cow and milk a cow. I think that people would come in that had that ability. I do believe in that. As far as religion goes, I'm not a deeply religious person. I would say I'm more a spiritual person, but I still have Father Padre Pio. I have Saint Teresa. I have the Blessed Mother on my desk. These are individuals that are powerful beings in my life, So I don't go to church. I mean, I would go to church if there was an opportunity that I wanted to go. But I believe that spirituality and religion is in your body. I think you envelope that, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Right. Makes a lot of sense.
Definitely does make sense. And kind of relating, this is off topic, but since we are Club Sparkle, we have our products, we're mineral based. One of the things, the story of Lourdes, for those who don't know, it's these miracle stream of water that people would travel all over the earth to go because it would cure people of ailments, sicknesses, diseases. And I'm sure there's like some powers there that you cannot measure or figure out why it was accounting for all these miracles. But in modern times, they actually, I don't know if you know this, Susan, they actually tested that water to see what's going on with this water. And what they found out was that the water included minerals. It was very mineral dense and nutrient dense. And a lot of what the minerals people were missing at that time, since diet wasn't so good. So on a scientific level, it counts for a lot of miracles because of minerals. But now on a spiritual level, there are things that you cannot measure or you cannot see. There's no, that's kind of what I wanted to ask you. Do you think technology will get good enough to measure aura like we see, or measure mediumship, psychicness? And so normal people can see or experience that as well.
There's actually an app for that.
I think there's many people that have been studied and tested, and people that have privates with me have profound experiences. I forget what I say to people, so I look on my reviews and I go, that's really cool. But as far as minerals go and mediumship, the first thing that goes in us is our deficit is always minerals. And years ago, I knew I had to take extra minerals. That's what made me interested in Sparkle. And
what were you deficient in, if you don't mind me asking?
What?
What were you deficient in, if you don't mind me asking?
I don't know. I never looked it up. I just know mediums, like we're all deficient in minerals. Like years ago, they would say, take more fulvic minerals, because so after, an hour of platform or 2 hours of being in front of a crowd, you're just taking it all on. So we're always like wiped out, or, my energy is much better because I built it up. It's like building up. How could I explain this? It's like your auric field gets stronger when you keep doing this work. Because in the beginning, I'd be like going to a psychic fair and I would be sick with a flu for a week afterwards, because of all the energy I was taking on, because I was wide open. I didn't know how to protect or scale down. I'm going back 25 years. So at this point, it's like, you have a buildup, but you still need your minerals. And that's how I actually became very interested. And in the Ion 5, I give it to my dogs. I take it, and it rejuvenates me. That's for sure. Like, I need that.
Do you get any readings when you give it to your dogs? Any positive thumbs up? Tell them to leave a review for us.
I totally look at them and I could tell the difference when they don't feel good or when they feel better. But it's also like, it's like you wouldn't go to if your dad is a surgeon, your dad is not going to operate on you. He's too close.
Mm-hmm.
So in order to get like a reading on my dogs, I have to get really quiet and really, figure out what's going on with them if there's something going on. But it's the same thing. It's like, it's too subjective when it's somebody that you love or something that you love. So I do a lot of work with people like, that their animals are transitioning or they did transition, to try to get the answers that people need, or when their dogs are sick, like where there's a problem. I do kind of a lot of that.
That's leads me to my next question. You talk about, helping them transition. You even help reincarnate some animals that, you place into newborn animals, so they have the same personality and the same, tendencies, and it's that dog before. But you also mentioned that pets are part of your soul tribe. Am I saying that correctly? They're a part of your spirit in a way. You guys have like a soul family, and they find your way back.
Yeah.
So can you talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, sure. It's what I've learned, not from a class. Like, my animal intuition and my healing mostly came from animals teaching me and horses teaching me what to do. But what I learned through the work that I do, not in a class, is that we travel in soul families, and like everybody that's on the other side waits for everybody else to cross over. Like, the most important people in your immediate family, your dogs, your cats that you've had, your mother, your father, your grandparents. And then you come back together, but you come back as different. Like when let's say your husband, right? It's like, damn, I feel like I had a past life with him. Like, what happened? Well, what were we in a past life? That kind of thing. Well, he was your dad in a past life, and that's why he's always watching over you and worrying about you. It's like more of a father, he's more of a father. And I get that a lot from my clients. Like, my husband is like always worried about me, and because he was her dad in a past life. It's very, very interesting to me. It's never a dull moment in it. I always learn something new.
So how do pets, because we know that pets affect our health. We know on a physical level, I can just feel better when I'm around my dog. Emotional support. I even read a statistic somewhere that it reduces your cholesterol and blood pressure. So can you talk about how, 'cause I know you love pets and animals, and you get the chance to speak to everybody's. Can you tell us about the effect that animals have on our pet or on our health, and how that's so important?
Let's talk about, can I flip it a little?
Yeah.
Let's talk about our impact on our pets. Like, I always tell my clients, if you've had a really awful day, don't grab your dog and squeeze it. Because they're taking on all of our stuff. Now, this isn't to make everybody feel guilty, but ironically, my dog that I had when I was young and my mother passed, a year later, she passed of the very same thing my mother had. Isn't that interesting? She was taking on, because they're healers, so they take on our stuff.
Mhm. All
So
right.
I won't grab a dog or a pet when I'm like need to release anger or fear or resentment, because I'm still a human being having a human experience, even though I'm spiritual. I go hug a tree and get rid of negative emotions before I would ever go near my pet. So we have to learn how to diffuse what's going on with us, so the animals don't take it on. And I have a whole bunch of feelings about animals come into our lives to help us. And when we decide, and I'm not saying it's anybody here, but there are people that dump their animals back at a shelter or leave it somewhere, to not fend for itself. That animal has not completed his mission with you. And that is the saddest thing. I have a family member, they get pets and they find new homes for it. And I'm like, of course, you haven't finished the sequence of healing and work through that amazing experience that only an animal could really give you. But I'm not saying that people that don't have animals won't get a healing. It's maybe not your karmic path to have an animal in this lifetime, and that's okay. But the animals that come to you or find you or you end up having, it's so worth it to like keep them until they're ready to transition.
That's why we got to take care of our pets so they can take care of us.
Yes, exactly. Hence my dog Rosie that changed my life.
Is that the French bull, the pit bull?
That's
Or-
right.
Those guys are expensive, Susan. You paid a pretty penny, right?
I listen, they were, it was, what year was that? So many years ago, they were starting to really become popular. And I said, I'm not spending that. And I was in Malibu when I walked into a pet store after a day of trying to sell real estate, and it was awful. And I was getting a cat toy. And I walk into the store and she's a French bulldog breeder and they're all in bassinets. And they basically talked me in to taking the dog home and not charging my credit card till Monday. And it was Good Friday. So I had Good Friday, Saturday, and Easter Sunday. And Monday, they said I could bring the dog back. And by Monday, this dog never cried, never whimpered. I was like, this dog is like an adult, like a person. She would just be sleeping on her back when I'd come into the kitchen, like, who had a puppy like that, right? And my husband, who was my boyfriend at the time, he's like, you can't bring that dog back. It's attached.
All guys are.
I'm like, you think you need to tell me that? And he didn't like the fact that I got a dog without asking, like we were living together. And I said, the dog is going to stay, but you can move out.
Now let me guess, Susan. He loves the dog and they're best friends.
Oh, he loves all the dogs. He's like crazy for animals, He loves cats. He never loved cats. He's like, I totally get the whole cat thing now. And
Oh wow. So with that being said, I know that we have a couple of people in the audience that would like to ask you a couple of questions. So
Is that all right, Susan? Is that all right?
absolutely.
so the
We
first
had-
person we have is Miss Angela Clement.
Hi,
Well, there she is. Hi, Angela.
Hello.
Thanks for joining us.
thank you.
Hi, Angela.
Hi, so I don't know how many questions I can ask, but I wanted to ask about my youngest daughter, Elizabeth. She's an actress, and I just wanted to know if she was going to get another good job soon. She hasn't had a professional job since last summer. She was in an episode of Kindred, and she's also on the wait list for the UNCSA high school drama program. She's actually in the voice program right now, but she wants to switch over. So she's on the wait list for that. And then,
Okay, one question at a time, because I want
Sorry.
to answer that
I'm
fully.
sorry,
No, it's okay. Is it part of the same question or is
sort
it?
of, I just want to know what college she was going to go to, because she's applying to colleges in the fall.
Okay, hold on. I feel like there's going to be a person that's going to come in to give her work. And I feel like it's going to be a pretty nice spiritual man. And I feel like the man could be like a producer or a director. I feel like he's going to be easy to be around. And I feel like she's going to know that that's the right. And I also feel like it's going to be a series. I feel like it's going to be like a series. And I'm getting the number 4, and I'm hoping it's not 4 years, but I feel like she's going to get better at what she does and hone her craft. So is she going to school for theater?
Right now for voice, because the theater program at UNC School, the Arts High School, is only for your senior year. So she auditioned for the drama program, but she's on the wait list for that right now.
But at college, I'm talking about what's
Oh,
next.
oh, sure. When she goes to college, she wants to study drama and acting.
Yeah, that's exactly where she's going to really hone her stuff.
Okay.
And I feel like somebody's going to see her in a play. So how old is she?
She's 17. She'll be 18 in December.
Yeah, she's just keep telling her how wonderful she is and telling her she has to keep going. I just feel like she needs a lot of positive reinforcement. Like you need to like almost tell her fake it till you make it. Like you have to really feel like, you know, as a mom, it's really hard, I'm sure, like you worry, fear and all that, but just see her on a stage, see her doing what she loves, see her performing.
I try. I pray the rosary every day, and
That's a meditation. I used to pray decades and decades of the rosary.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's meditation.
So, and then my last question was, I have a neurotic dog. He's an a miniature Australian Shepherd, and we just don't know why the dog's so nervous.
It's he needs a lot of exercise.
Okay.
You get him out for walks? Because I feel like that's
He
part
goes in
of
the
it.
backyard and runs around because we have like a electronic fence, and so he needs more exercise.
It's not the backyard. A dog needs a walk. He needs to smell the neighborhood. He's neurotic because he's in an enclosure and all he's doing is doing this. You need to walk him because it's like Cesar Millan said it, not me, folks. They need to read the paper on a walk. They read the paper. You see, like we like, you know, years ago, how we all read papers. We don't read papers anymore. But it was a form of like knowing what's going on. Like I don't watch the news, so I don't even read a paper. But years ago, it was okay to read a paper because it was true. So the dog needs to read the paper. He needs to be on a leash and he needs a walk. Now he's going to have a hard time initially because he's not used to being on a leash.
Mhm.
But he needs to be walked, and
Okay.
it'd be great for you too.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
You're so welcome. Thank you for asking.
Thank you so much, Angela. Okay, who do we
Okay.
have next, guys?
We have Jeannie next.
Okay, next question is from Jeannie Raven. She here? Can we highlight
She
you?
is.
There she is with her daughter Fallon. Hi, guys.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi, Susan. It's wonderful to meet you, and we love hearing all about you. Thank you very much for sharing.
Thank you so much.
So we have a dog that has some form of allergy or something going on with his feet, and we've done multiple tests with dermatologists and regular veterinarians, and they've just come back with he's allergic to grass or something.
Mhm.
So he's going through a flare-up again, and we can't seem to get it down.
Right. Okay. So that's very common, by the way. It's a yeast allergy. When you smell his feet, do they kind of smell tangy or like Cheetos or something?
Mm-mm.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, usually the paw licking is a yeast allergy, and it's not like you give him yeast, it's that he has a flare up and then he's constantly chewing and licking and his paws are really red.
Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay.
they bleed.
So
Mhm.
it's on prednisone and spray.
Yeah, and it just suppresses the immune system and then they can't fight anything. How old is the dog? About 8?
5.
Okay. Can I ask you guys a question? I know we're talking about dogs and I totally want to help you with a dog, but do you have a female in spirit? Because this woman kept coming to me and I don't know if it's for you, but it's she's do you have like a mom or a grandmother in spirit that would have been she wore glasses and she had a thin face and she was very plain. She didn't wear a lot of makeup. Would this be for you? It could be for somebody else, but I just want to see.
It could be my grandmother or Fallon or
Okay. Do you,
or my husband's grandmother.
do you have a T initial or a Teresa in spirit? A T.
No,
No?
Bella, Felicita, what's Bubby is Mary. No, not
Okay.
I don't
I
think
might be
so.
with somebody else.
Not
Let me
My-
go back to-
Lucy, no.
I'm sorry. I have a grandma who just passed away, and her first name is Nancy, but we call her Sensei.
Okay. I'm gonna go with you, but first let me finish with them. She's, because she was with me the minute I meditated today. Hold on. So, this is what I want you to do. You ready?
Mm-hmm.
We're ready.
Okay, cool water and baking soda. It will stop it. It will stop him. Like to the point of 3 times a day, like half a cup of baking soda with cool water. Just if he's small, that's even better. If you can dip each of those paws and let them sit for like 3 minutes.
Okay.
Like if you have like, is he a big dog?
He's
Yeah.
45 pounds.
Yeah, it's gonna be a little harder. Like I would get
Awesome.
2, I would get 2 like disposable baking dishes and put 2 in the front and 2 in the back and make him stand.
Okay. We could do that.
That will help him enormously because it is an allergy. I can't pick up on what it is. It could be like, you know,
So
that's
you're
saying
not saying parasite or anything, huh? Just allergy.
I don't see a parasite. I feel like it's an allergy to something that he's eating. And you know, there is a way to figure out what he's allergic to if you're interested. The
Yes,
Spectrum Veterinary
Okay.
does like a test, an allergy test. It's blood work, and then they'll determine exactly what he's. But I do see grass. He does have a grass allergy, so that's the worst because
Okay.
you're flaring up right now. I see his feet on grass, and it's getting worse. Did you notice a flare up when like the grass started growing?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's grass, yeah. So, but there's a formula that they will give you. It's homeopathic that you could spray in his mouth. It will lessen it, but it's not going to completely get rid of it.
Because right now he gets allergy shots too, and that's not helping.
And what is he taking?
Prednisone and
No, for the allergy, it's Cytopoint.
And it's not helping?
Mm-mm. It was helping before, but this last time around, it didn't help.
well, he's a very spiritual dog too. Like, so I feel like it kind of is more for him because he's more sensitive to things, any kind of medicines.
Well, you know, prednisone, you know, I'm not a vet, but I don't even think that's helping. I mean, even more.
No. It's not now. Yeah, that's why we were so worried now because we were going to have to start doing testing again and find out.
You need to find a homeopathic vet in your area and try to get Spectrum Veterinary to do blood work on him. Like if you go on Spectrum Veterinary website and put your zip code in, I think that there's a vet that would probably be in your area that would test for that.
Okay.
Because it does lessen. And right now he's completely flared up and the prednisone is doing a number on his stomach.
Right.
Because I just got a bad stomach ache just
Right.
now as I'm saying
I've
it.
been trying to get him back down. I'm weaning him down, and as soon as I go almost off, it flares
It
again.
goes crazy.
Yeah.
Also, you know, there's probiotics that would help heal his gut and a little bone broth, organic. Don't do chicken, do beef.
Beef
Because
broth.
anything with feathers with an allergic dog is not great right now
Okay.
because it's so flared up.
Okay. So keep him away from the chickens.
I know.
We have chickens. We have them outside too. He terrorizes.
I had no idea. Jeannie, you really have chickens? That's awesome.
Yeah.
That is awesome.
Yeah. So thank you, Susan. That was
Thank
very,
you very
very
much.
helpful. We appreciate you
Oh,
very much.
My
Thank you.
pleasure.
Thank you,
Thank
Jeannie.
you,
Beth. Good to
guys.
see you guys.
Okay.
Who do we have? Oh, go ahead, Susan.
No, I wanted to talk to you about your grandmother.
Yes.
And can I ask you, was she on the smaller side too? Like,
Towards the end of her life, she lost a lot of weight.
Mhm. Would you understand, would she have worn glasses? Would she have also worn glasses?
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
She's smiling, like I see her in spirit and she's smiling.
Mhm.
And I want to say, like, this is somebody that really loved you and believed in you and is telling me that you guys were close,
Yeah.
like almost like mom, you know? Because I also feel with her, like she just was so full of love all the time for you. Like you could kind of do no wrong in terms of with her.
Yeah. So my mom moved to the US and she kind of raised me. So I was back and forth between that
Okay,
grandma.
hold on. When you went there, why is she showing me in a car with you? Did you used to take her around, or did you used to go in a cab with her? Why would she show me like, oh, okay, I understand. She's in the car with you when you're driving.
Yes.
She's correcting me.
Yeah.
She's in the car with you when you drive. And she says sometimes you drive a little too fast.
And I'm like on my phone sometimes when I drive.
Okay.
And that's so funny that you mentioned that because constantly I feel like I'm very close to spirit. I'm very spiritual. And I'll just get messages like, get off your phone, get off your phone, or like drive slower.
She doesn't mention the phone so much as you're driving too fast. So, you know,
Yeah.
I think people are becoming multi-dexterous. Like you're looking at your phone, you're looking at the road, but I like come to a grinding halt if I look at my phone, and it drives my husband crazy. He's like, you're on the high freeway. What do you get
Yeah.
on? But she's very proud of you and happy. And would you have been like one of the people in your family that graduated college, or would she have been very proud of you because of the college or your education?
So I'm actually the first person in my family that's like focused on what I want to do
Okay.
and pursuing something that I want to pursue.
And that's because it's your purpose, you know, that's what you're supposed to do.
Mm-hmm.
You're the
And
only person.
yeah, and I see like a really like happy home for you, and you know how you've set up your place. Like
Yeah.
there's a lot of happiness and joy there.
Yeah. In my room, it's my sanctuary.
Yeah. So
I
she's
also-
always around you.
I'm sorry.
She's always around you, she said.
Yeah. I had actually asked, is embarrassing, but I asked one of them because I have two people that I was really close to that passed on. I was like, this is the time, you guys, if you want to talk to me, now is the time. So it's so funny that you mentioned that.
No, that's you inviting them in. So, you know, when you invite them in, like I tell people before you hire me, talk to your loved ones, say, I'm gonna have a reading, it's this day, it's this time, please be there. And I kid you not, they're always there when you invite them.
Oh, I love that.
That's nice.
I love
Yeah.
that. That was like such a random thought that I had. And so they showed
And
up.
it's like next year you're gonna probably buy your own house because you're gonna have saved a lot of money. So keep your goals.
Okay. Will do. Thank you.
That's good news.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Thank you so much.
Okay,
You're
if
so
we
welcome.
maybe one or two left.
With who else? Lourdes or something?
Lords. We were just talking about lords, the water lords. Now it's
Lordess.
lords.
Ah.
Where's she? I see her right here. There you go.
Just
Oh.
start talking.
Okay.
Oh, hi.
Hi, Susan. How are you?
I'm good. How about you?
Nervous. I
Oh.
lost my son 10 years ago. I'd like to find out if his spirit is around me all the time. Like I feel it. And every Mother's Day, he comes and visit me. And then whenever I feel sad, he appears in my dream.
Oh, that's beautiful. So you had a connection. That's a visitation. when he's
Yeah.
talking to you in the dreams. Yeah. Even
And
if
he,
it doesn't make sense, the dreams, he shows himself, right?
yeah, and I see this bird that since he passed away, this bluebird is around me. And the reason I know that is part of him, that I don't know, that like you know how they appear in a different um spiritual, you know, like animals or certain things. But this birdie touched my head on the very first day that I took my grandson out for a walk. And then he just follows me and he whistle and whistle.
Can I
And
ask you a question? Can
yeah,
I give you information? Did you, it's your son, right? You said your
yeah,
son? Did your son have a lot of drugs in his system when he passed?
yes, it was on chemotherapy, a lot of medication.
Yes, because I feel that. And I want to say that he's very much at peace. You definitely were like this close to him, like super close and bonded. But I also feel like when he passed, you, besides the grief, right? Besides the grief that you felt, you were in acceptance because you didn't want to see him go through all that.
No, it's true.
Yeah, like you had a peace because you are very, very spiritual yourself, and you had a peace come over you almost when he passed. And I feel like you remember, like the day that he passed, you felt that, and you always remember that day. It's like you always remember that day when he crossed over because you had this peace inside of you. Like he's at peace and he's at rest.
Yes.
And I feel like, you know, thank God you had that moment of that time with him, because that's holy to me. Like that's a holy moment that you'll always cherish and remember.
It's like a feeling that the moment that his heart stopped, it's like half of my heart, it went to him. And he knows it. And I visit him every weekend. And I just know that I feel like it's around me and my children. We just miss him so bad.
I know. Well, that's the physical. You miss the physical so much, but he's with an older woman. Is your mother in heaven?
Yes. And
Yeah.
were he told me they were he told me to say hi to them when he was in bed after we finished praying. And he goes, "Oh, there's grandma. Why don't you say hi to her and smile and wave?" I said, "Where?" "They're coming towards the room." And who's with grandma? I said, My grandpa." And he said, what we call his grandma Apu. As soon as he said the words Apu, first I thought it was his grandmother on mother's side because she died 3 weeks before he did.
Mhm.
So when he said Apu, and I buckled down and just cried. Yes, they were together. I really believe that they're all together because he told me
Yeah,
he's
no,
them.
he's with her. And they're just, she's very sweet and peaceful. She's very peaceful. And I feel like they're together, like having this moment together that's beautiful and peaceful. Do you understand that? Like she's very comforting to him.
Yeah, they were very, very close.
Yeah.
My son was her errand boy when we were overseas, and she sent him to go to the store
Aw,
whenever she wants to bake something. And then, in fact, he did not know the difference between broccoli and cabbage the very first time she sent him in the store. But yeah, I miss them both, and I'm heartbroken, and I will always grieve for him. And then I lost my sister just 4 years ago, and I'd like to know if you can feel her also.
did she also have long hair like you? Because she just appeared. Did she have longer
No,
hair too?
shorter hair.
Okay. And let me ask you a question. Why would he show me rainbows? Are they significant for you?
Oh my God. It was raining, pouring hard all night long. We did not know how we're gonna bury her. And
Okay.
just an hour before we bury her, a big huge rainbow appeared.
They
and
just showed me this
the
huge
whole-
rainbow for you.
The whole rain stopped.
So thank God, Lords, I have to say this to you. Thank God you make the spiritual connections, because it will get easier over time. Like you're always gonna remember, and you're always gonna remember. But I have to say, try not to remember the last 6 months of your son's life. Try to remember before that, like when he was still capable and moving around and hold on to things like the rainbow, because they just showed me this huge rainbow for you. Because I feel like they're blessing you too, and they're always around you and watching over you and with you. And was it your mother that liked to drink coffee? Who liked the coffee? Because she's in your kitchen having coffee with you.
My mom drinks coffee and tea.
Okay, because when you have your coffee, she sits there and has coffee with you.
Yes, she does. She lives with me for several years. And yes, she did. And talking about the rainbow, right after my son passed away, my daughter, they saw how heartbroken I was, and they are the same as them because we were all very close. So they got me a ticket. They flew me in Ohio to be with my sister. So just a change of scenery. And on the day that we were gonna go out, all of a sudden, thunderstorm, lightning, and it got really dark.
Wow.
But for some reason, I told my sister, we're not gonna get wet. We look at outside the sliding glass door. There's this tree entwined, big huge rainbow all around. And I said, we will be covered and be safe when we travel, because there were this rainbow. That's John. He just sent us a signal. And it did not rain. We can see the rain from everywhere, but from on the freeway, it's completely dry.
Isn't that amazing?
And I knew it that.
Yeah, you're connected. Yeah. You have this deep connection. It's what we all want when people go to heaven. Mine is with my dad. I have that connection with my own father in heaven. And yours is with your son.
Big time.
Yeah. It's beautiful. So follow him. He's guiding you. And are you buying another house, or are you going to move again?
My daughter, they just bought another house. And they're doing their last walk next week.
Congratulations. I feel like he's bringing that to them, because he brings me another house.
Yeah. Thank you.
Aw, I love you. Thank you.
I love you. Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome.
Thank you so much, Lord. Okay, last question. This is gonna be from Florita. Florita, can we get her on? There we go. Hi, Tita.
Do you see me?
Yes. Hi.
Hi. How are you?
Oh, thank you for being here.
I just thought about you.
I missed what you said. Can you say it again?
I thought about you.
You thought about me?
Yep.
Oh, thank
I
you.
said, I know Susan is a medium.
Oh.
You have a question for her, Flo?
Hi. Yes. I want to know, I had a sister that just passed away. I was wondering if they're all together and how she's doing up there.
Hold on. So let me just see her. There's like 5 people together in a kitchen. So I feel like there's 5 people together in a kitchen, and I feel like she's with, is she the youngest? Is she younger than you? Who's the youngest in the family?
I am the youngest.
Okay, she's telling me you're the youngest. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you're like the baby. And Did she take care of you when you were little? Did she?
Yes.
Because she's showing me like she would have held you and changed your diaper, and she's showing me like she would take care of you. Would you understand?
Yeah. They're all of them. I had another sister that just passed 2 years ago, and then her sister, younger sister, and they're both older than me, just passed away 3 months ago.
Whose birthday is coming? Is it yours, or did you just have a birthday? Whose birthday is
Uh,
coming in the family? Is it your grandchild? There's a birthday coming. They're bringing me a birthday cake.
Her birthday, the one that just passed away, is December. But my other sister was March. Yes.
Okay.
She just had her birthday.
Okay. Is she living? Is that sister living? The one whose birthday just happened in March?
No, she passed away 2 years ago.
Okay. Hold on. Hold on. Give me another question. What's the other question? There's a lot going on over there.
Yeah.
Just focus. Stay with me.
Okay. Yeah. So I want to know if how she's doing up there, because I know when she died, because she worries a lot about her children,
Okay.
because she's got one that she used to live with before she passed, and she knows that she's
She's
like
she's at
um,
peace. She's at peace. Can I just ask you a question? Because you're here, do you drink enough water?
oh no, why?
Because she's telling me you need water. You're not drinking enough water. She's like literally pouring glasses of water. You're not hydrating.
I just started because I was getting thirsty. I was looking for a bottle of water and I just got it.
Put your ion 5 in there.
Yeah.
Oh yes, yes. I have lots of iron 5.
It's amazing.
And I drink Nectura also, every
Nectura's
young,
great.
every morning, no miss.
There we go.
Sparkles you. Sparkle magic.
Yeah.
Was that the question you had, Florida?
Huh?
Was that the only question you had?
No, I had shingles. Like two months ago, sometime in April.
That's hard.
And my left arm is still kind of weak. And I was wondering when is that going to go away? That's from shingles.
It's going to go away. It will go away. It just takes a while. But I'm going to say this, I'm not a vaccine person, but did you get the vaccine? Like, are you getting that shingles vaccine?
My doctor said after 6 months when I had the shingles.
Yeah, because I feel like that would, I'm not a doctor, but I just got that vaccine is important for you. That's my vibe. That's my vibe. That vaccine is important for you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah,
You're welcome.
I'm going to get that done, I think September.
Okay. But your arm will feel better. Just keep laughing. Laughing is the best medicine.
Okay. Yep. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
And that's pretty much it, Susan. Thank you so much for joining us. We really
thank you so much as well.
Is there anything you want to say before we go ahead and close this up?
I'm doing a retreat in Cambria. I'm doing an animal communication retreat. You can bring your dog, no cats. We have a pet-friendly hotel. There's going to be wine tasting. It's in the Central Coast of California. And we're going to, here's my for new clients during the month of June, 50 minutes for a soul speak reading, animal or person, is $375. And then my Cambria retreat, it's pretty amazing. It's going to be wonderful. It's 3 to 4 days. You can make it a 4th night. It's 2 nights, 3 days, but you can make it a 3rd night or a 4th night. You're going to want to stay in Cambria. It's pretty spectacular. It's the Central Coast of California. We're going to have a top chef do a dinner, and then there's hors d'oeuvres passing, and we're going to do walks on the beach. I'm going to do readings. Readings will be available, private readings with me. It's just going to be magical. So sign up for my website or call Michelle. She'll get you what you need for the retreat. Like, we're going to do a whole offering. So I'm kind of excited about all this.
Yes, and thank you so much for doing this, Susan.
Yes,
Thank you for
thank
joining us,
you.
and thank you for
Oh,
allowing.
it's my pleasure. I love the Sparkle Club family. I love all you guys so much. You made me feel like a family whenever I've been around you. It's lovely to know you and meet you.
That means a lot. I know you met everybody. You met the
I met
founder.
everybody.
You're part of the family too. So
Thank
for
you.
everybody at home, if you're interested in connecting with Susan for a reading, coaching, or retreat, you can always visit her website, susanallenmedium.com. We should be putting that in the chat as we speak. And is it still share screening, Kevin?
No, it's not.
Can you pull that up really quickly? And usually Susan's readings are around $500 for a 50-minute private reading, but she's offering an exclusive discount just for the Club Sparkle family. So
Yeah.
that's why the special price of $375. That's $125. Guys.
And call Michelle. Her number's at the bottom to book
Yep.
her with me.
So just a reading and a retreat. You can also book through Michelle. You can find
That's
that
great.
down low on the screen. So that's the 3-day retreat and the 50-minute reading. And let her know that Club Sparkle sent you.
Yes.
Thanks again, Susan.
Thank you.
Thank you. We appreciate your time.
My
you.
pleasure. Have a good night.
Thanks, Susan.
Bye.
So we do
Bye.
these events, everybody, monthly. You can always visit our events tab on our website to find out more, and you can register for any upcoming events there. That's clubsparkleusa.com/events. Should be going in the chat as well. Our next event, we're going to be bringing on Dr. Michael and Barbara Grossman. They're both marriage and family therapists, and they also specialize in anti-aging and regenerative medicine. So don't miss out on that one. So if you have somebody that would be interested in that talk or these meetups, please feel free, to bring them at that next event, which is July 11th. Correct, guys?
Mhm.
Yes, Tuesday,
July 11th. They're all at 5 p.m. Pacific time. So if you're in a different state, just notate that it is 5 p.m. Pacific time. And if you want to connect with us, you can always go to the website that we have, clubsparkleusa.com, so you can check out the products that we offer, our events that we're throwing, and learn about more of what we do here. You can also connect with our phone number, that's 872-772-7553, or our email, support@clubsparkleusa.com. We also have social media, and that's easy. Our handle is @clubsparkleusa on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Spotify, a lot of things, right, guys?
Yeah.
Get it all? But that's all we have for you guys today. Thank you again for joining us this Tuesday. We really appreciate it. Thanks again to Susan. My name is Nikolai.
I'm Christine.
And I'm Terry.
And that's all we have for you guys today.